A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta, and tonight's episode promises to be a delightful treat. We are diving into the world of desserts, ice creams, and all things snackable. That's right, the spotlight is on Baskin Robbins. We'll explore India's booming ice cream industry, the QSR business, and much more. On the show tonight, I'll be joined by Vikram Seth, Managing Director of Graviss Foods, India, UAE, UK, Baskin Robbins. Joining me live all the way from Dubai is Mr. Vikram Seth, Managing Director, Graviss Foods. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Vikram.
Thank you, Ritwika, for having me.
So, Baskin Robbins has become one of the largest ice cream chains globally. Can you share insights into how the brand has evolved over the years and what factors have driven its success?
Sure. I think Baskin Robbins has had a very interesting journey since it started in the 1950s in the US. And it chose to start and get into ice creams through ice cream parlors. And it actually encouraged what I would call social eating and bonding. And it started out as a soda fountain in the US, where teenagers would congregate, in the evening, hang out, have an ice cream, listen to some music. And that's how it's evolved from there to become a full-fledged ice cream parlor, as against a lot of other ice cream brands and companies that sell ice cream on the go through packaged ice cream. So that was the route. And along with that, I think Baskin Robbins did 2-3 very unique things. One of the things they did was they came up with the concept of 31 flavors. And that 31 even shows in their brand, BR. If you read carefully, you will see the inner section of the name BR is actually 31. And it meant that they would offer one flavor a day, every month. So you could literally go to the parlor for 31 days and have 31 different ice creams. That was the concept. They also came up with something very interesting called the pink spoon. The pink spoon actually allowed consumers to go inside the shop and sample any ice cream that they wanted before buying it. So it kind of raised a lot of curiosity, choosing flavors, bringing the fun into eating. And I think these have been very simple ideas, but they've been sustained for the last so many decades, and they've played a very important role to build the brand. Baskin Robbins, since inception, has made 1,300 plus flavors of ice creams. If you ask me, I can't even name 10% of them. But the range of flavors, continuous innovation, I think these are the factors behind the evolution and the growth of the brand around the world.
The food and beverage industry, especially the snacking sector, is constantly changing. Vikram, what are your thoughts on the current trends within the global F&B industry?
In terms of snacking, India has always had a very, very robust appetite for fresh food at home, at all levels of society. Unlike the West, where you see the chilled and the frozen categories, which are preferred for the convenience that they offer. But it's interesting to note that in the West, fresh food is considered premium, whereas in India, it's the norm. In terms of trends, how this is going forward at a global level, I think as society gets consumed more and more by multitasking and by chasing aspirations, convenience matters even more. Secondly, at a very subconscious level, single-handed snacking continues to score over the use of two hands. This is very interesting even in our category of ice creams, where you see sticks and cones getting more and more popular as compared to, let's say, a cup of ice cream where you got to use both your hands. I also see that as families are getting smaller, the dinner table is getting replaced with alternates, and the consumer is getting spoiled for choice. I personally have an example where I went out to buy salt and I spent 15 minutes deciding which salt to buy. And I think this goes for a lot of categories where the expansion of snacking and snacking taking over from lunch and dinner more and more, that's where the world is heading.
Now in India, the ice cream market is expanding rapidly. How do you see the growth of the ice cream sector here, and how is Baskin Robbins planning to strengthen its presence in the Indian market?
Sure. So, before I answer this question, I would like to tell you that, China has actually overtaken the US as the largest ice cream market in the world. And now some of the largest ice cream factories are located there. And it's a country that is generally lactose intolerant. But see how things have changed. I see India follow the same path. And the size of our industry I expect it to quadruple in the next decade. And this is on the back of not only the projected economic growth rate, but also the building out of the retail infrastructure in our country.
Sure.
And the improvement in the cold chain, which have been moving very rapidly in the last couple of decades. And that speed is only going to build. And things are only going to expand into the smaller towns to enable ice cream to reach to even more locations than today. I also see that as the per capita income in India rises, it would bring along higher aspirations. And I see that's where Baskin Robbins would fit in. We're already the largest ice cream store, the chain of ice cream stores in India. And I think in the coming time, we aspire to maintain this position. How do we plan to do this? I think it's all about staying relevant and in the minds of the consumers, and to be continuously invested in the future through capability in manufacturing, R&D, and to understand the evolving consumer preferences.
So as the quick service restaurant sector continues to grow, QSR, tell us what differentiates Baskin Robbins from other QSR chains and competition overall.
This is actually, Ritwika, the core of our existence. It goes to the core. And let me begin by telling you that we at Baskin Robbins, we create dopamine hits through the combination of our products and ambience. And this dopamine hit is nothing but what the world calls happiness. We encourage social bonding within families, within friends, to go out to our stores. And we are continuously building capability at our stores to enhance this experience. I think, if you look at QSR, generally, which are primarily serving food, food is about satiation of your appetite and memories. Whereas eating ice creams is about feeling good, feeling happy. And at least to that extent, there is a difference between other chains and us, what we do. We believe that we are in the happiness game. We are not in the ice cream game. I think what we've also tried to do, we've attempted to get the balance right between international and ethnic taste preferences. It's a tricky path to tread in a country which is as diverse as India. And I would say that we've had some successes as well as a few learnings. But this is something that will go on forever.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. In conversation tonight with Vikram Seth of Graviss Foods. And in this segment, we speak about the roadmap for Baskin Robbins in the coming year. Over the years, Baskin Robbins has managed to stay relevant and maintain consumer interest. What role has innovation played in this, especially in your product development and offerings?
You know, the Graviss Group, we've been the pioneer of ice creams in India. And in our partnership with Baskin Robbins, we have brought together some very good capability in the area of innovations. As I said earlier, Baskin Robbins has innovated with more than 1,300 flavors. It's not just developed flavors, but through innovation, we've developed concepts such as ice cream cakes, sundaes, and we continue to do so. I think we've got a reasonably sophisticated and in-depth R&D program in India and a very structured flow of innovations planned for every year. And we are supported by Baskin Robbins International, which supplies us with ideas for every month of the year. So we have a big bank of products that we work on and then select on what to bring to the market every year. If I can remember in the past, some of the interesting flavors that we've done, and just to give you an example of what I mean by innovation, we are doing two very interesting flavors. The first one being butter popcorn. So you actually got popcorn into ice cream, the flavor of popcorn. And the second one that we're doing, which is my favorite, is the rabdi jalebi, where we've got some very nice products, rabdi and jalebi together. And they are, I think, doing reasonably well as we see in the last 3 months that since we've launched them. So I think to sum it up, I would say innovation is a core activity for us. And we also have fun built around doing this, especially when it comes to product sensory and tasting, where we get people from different departments wanting to come and try their hand at it. But it's a pretty formal process that we have for innovation, for product sensory, tasting, and I think it's working for us.
Now, consumer preferences in the F&B industry are also evolving quickly, especially with a greater focus on health-conscious options. How is Baskin Robbins responding to this?
Yeah, I think that's the talk of the times, how to eat healthier. But I believe that in India, this category is still building traction. It's building traction, but it's still got some time to gain major relevance, which I'm sure it will. It's just a matter of time. What are we doing on this? We already, in terms of the quality of products, ingredients that we use, we're very particular about what we use. To give you an example, we only use fresh cream in our ice creams. We do not use butter, and even the cream comes from a dairy which has to be selected and ratified by our principals in America for the quality of cream that it produces and supplies. From 2025, all our products will also go natural to the extent of color and flavors that are used in our products. Beyond this, I think our R&D is working at different levels to address the subject of becoming healthier. And I think over the period of next 3 years, we will be coming out with more relevant products to address this growing and building demand.
And now looking back at 2024, how would you assess Baskin Robbins' performance in the past year? And if you could just talk to us about some of the milestones or challenges.
Sure. So, Ritwika, I think 2024 is a year that we will remember in Baskin Robbins. It's been a milestone year for us. The main reason is that we reached the landmark of 1,000 ice cream stores in September 2024. And by doing so, it places Baskin Robbins in India as within the top 4 markets in the world for Baskin Robbins. So I think that was a once in a lifetime achievement, maybe more than a milestone. It's also been a year of some great innovations for us. We brought to India products like bonbons, ice cream bars, which is relatively new in India. We launched the sizzling range of products in our parlors. And as a result of all these innovations, I think in 2024 will be remembered that we grew at a rate above 20%, which was, I think, outstanding in terms of achievement for what we did. In terms of challenges in 2024, I would say, yes, the input costs have been a challenge. I think the world has seen what has happened to the price of cocoa in 2024. In some items of cocoa, it's gone up as much as 400%. And we as a brand we've got a pretty vast portfolio of chocolate products. So that was a challenge for us in 2024.
Now, with the ice cream and QSR industry expected to grow even further, Vikram, tell us, what are your expansion plans for Baskin Robbins in 2025?
What we are now working towards is to make Baskin Robbins go beyond an ice cream parlor. Now, what does this mean? It means that we're now working to make Baskin Robbins a dessert destination. What is a dessert destination? India does not have too much of this. It might have some high-end boutiques that do desserts. But to take ice cream and put it in different forms and to mix it and match it with a lot of other products, and to create an ambience and atmosphere for people to come in and sit and eat their desserts beyond ice creams. That is our plan as we go into 2025 and beyond. Also in 2025, we're going to launch what we believe is the next level of ice cream cakes, which India has never seen. We've also launched packaged milkshakes.
Sure.
We've done this in Mumbai and Bangalore in September, and we plan to roll this out nationally in 2025.
And as you look forward to the future, what is your vision for Baskin Robbins in India and globally in the next 5 to 10 years? What steps are you taking to solidify your position as the leading ice cream brand in India?
we shall continue to focus on the innovation curve. And the last few years have been pretty good for us in this, and we expect to continue that. I think doing so should help us to maintain the number one position that we have in stores. That's what we aim to do. What we also aim to do is to make India amongst the top 2 markets in the world for Baskin Robbins stores in the next 5 years. And I believe this would be one of our bigger achievements yet to come. And this would be possible if we are able to participate in the quadrupling of the Indian ice cream market over the next 10 years. So these are pretty ambitious plans that we have.
Well, it was a pleasure chatting with you, Vikram. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ritwika. And lovely being and talking to you today.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.